If you're sleeping poorly, waking up just as tired as when you went to bed, noticing your erections becoming weaker, and feeling your energy slowly draining day after day, I need you to listen very carefully. Because what I'm about to explain is something most men have never been told in this level of clarity. And I want to be completely direct with you. This is not simply a normal part of getting older. It is a signal from your body that something essential is missing, a signal that your recovery system is beginning to break down. And that breakdown does not start during the day, it starts at night. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, and I've spent the last 5 years working in urology and men's health. And in my experience, the men who ignore what happens at night are the ones who decline the fastest. Before we go further, I want you to stay with me closely, because this is not theory. This is what I see in real patients every single week. If you are waking up exhausted, struggling with fading erections, and feeling your drive slowly disappear, that is not just aging. It is a warning sign that your body is losing something it depends on every single night. And most men do not realize it until the problem has already progressed far. I hear the same story again and again from my patients. They tell me, "Doctor, I sleep through the night, but I still wake up tired. My erections are weaker. My desire is not what it used to be. I feel heavy, foggy, and irritated for no clear reason." And when I evaluate them more deeply, I almost always find the same underlying pattern. Their body is no longer recovering properly during sleep. And this nightly recovery is not a small detail. It is the foundation that separates a man who feels strong and sharp from a man who feels exhausted and aged. Because during deep sleep, the body is supposed to go through critical repair processes. Testosterone production rises to its highest levels. Blood vessels in the penis regenerate and expand naturally. Inflammation in the prostate is reduced. And the mitochondria inside your cells, your internal energy systems, are recharged for the next day. But when sleep becomes shallow or disrupted, this entire system begins to fail. And the first areas to suffer are always the same: sexual performance, erection strength, physical energy, and overall desire. And what I want you to understand is this. In many cases, the root cause is not just stress or age alone. It is a gradual loss of essential nutrients that the male body depends on for proper nighttime recovery. And among all of them, one mineral stands out more than anything else: magnesium. Magnesium is one of the most important minerals for male sleep quality, nocturnal erections, and healthy testosterone function. Without enough of it, the nervous system stays in a constant state of alertness. You may fall asleep, but you never truly enter deep restorative sleep. And without deep sleep, the body never fully recovers. And when that recovery is lost, the changes often appear slowly and quietly, until one day they become impossible to ignore. Waking up 2 or 3 times during the night to urinate, restless or shallow sleep with frequent awakenings, muscle cramps, tension, or unusual sensations in the legs, feeling unrefreshed no matter how long you stayed in bed, increased irritability or anxiety during the day, and fewer or weaker morning erections. If you recognize even a few of these signs, your body may already be signaling a magnesium deficiency that is affecting your recovery at night. There are 2 major reasons this deficiency has become so common in modern men, and understanding them is critical if you want to reverse the pattern instead of just treating the symptoms. First, our modern food supply simply does not contain the same levels of magnesium that it used to. Over time, soil depletion has reduced the mineral content of crops, which means even foods that are considered healthy today often carry far less magnesium than they did a few decades ago. So even if you believe your diet is balanced, the reality is that your body may still be operating on a slow, silent deficit every single day. The second reason is even more important, especially for men as they get older. As you age, your body's ability to absorb magnesium naturally decreases. This means that even if you are eating the right foods, your intestines are not extracting and utilizing the same amount of magnesium as they once did. So you are facing a double problem: less magnesium in the food itself and less absorption inside your body. And this is exactly why so many men experience a slow decline without realizing the cause. They adjust their diet, they try to eat better, they even take supplements occasionally. But the underlying deficiency continues to build in the background. And over time, that hidden deficiency begins to show up in very specific ways. The fatigue becomes more persistent. Sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. Erections become less consistent and less strong. And overall, vitality begins to fade in a way that feels gradual but noticeable. This is also the point where many men start thinking something is permanently wrong with them. But in most cases, it is not permanent damage. It is a recovery system that is simply not being supported anymore. And that is why magnesium, when used correctly, becomes such an important part of rebuilding that system. Not as a miracle cure, but as a foundational element your body requires to function properly at night. However, here is where many men make a serious mistake. They assume all magnesium supplements are the same. But in reality, the form you choose completely changes the outcome, especially when your goals are better sleep, stronger recovery, and improved sexual health. If you walk into a pharmacy or search online, you will find many different types: magnesium oxide, magnesium chloride, magnesium citrate, magnesium malate, magnesium threonate, and magnesium glycinate. And while they all contain magnesium in some form, they do not behave the same way inside the body. For men over 60 who are dealing with poor sleep, low energy, and reduced sexual performance, two forms stand out as the most effective. The first is magnesium glycinate. This form is highly absorbable and has a direct calming effect on the nervous system. It activates the parasympathetic state, which is your body's natural relaxation mode. When this system is active, your heart rate slows down, muscle tension decreases, and your body is able to transition into deeper sleep stages more easily. And those deeper sleep stages are where hormonal recovery and testosterone production primarily occur. This is also where many men begin to notice improvements in morning energy and even stronger, more consistent morning erections. The second important form is magnesium L-threonate. This form is unique because it can cross the blood-brain barrier, meaning it works directly on brain function. It helps reduce nighttime mental activity, calm racing thoughts, and support cognitive clarity. For men who struggle with overthinking at night or waking up and not being able to fall back asleep, this form can be especially helpful. Together, these two forms support both the body and the brain during sleep, which is exactly what is needed for full recovery. And when magnesium is taken correctly, at the right time, the effects become even more noticeable. The optimal time is 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime. This allows the mineral to begin calming the nervous system right as your body is preparing for sleep. For magnesium glycinate, most men benefit from a range of 200 to 400 milligrams at night. For magnesium L-threonate, dosing is typically based on 1 to 2 grams of powder, depending on the specific formulation. But the key is not just the dose, it is consistency. Because magnesium works gradually, rebuilding balance in the nervous system over time rather than creating an immediate dramatic effect. And when used properly for several nights in a row, many men begin to notice small but meaningful changes. They fall asleep faster. Their sleep becomes deeper. Their muscles feel less tense in the morning. And their overall sense of fatigue begins to decrease. This is where the body starts to shift back toward recovery instead of decline. When magnesium is used consistently, the changes do not appear as sudden transformations, but as steady improvements that build on each other night after night. In the first few days, many men begin to notice that falling asleep becomes easier. The mind feels less resistant, less active, and the body begins to relax in a more natural way. Muscle tension also starts to ease. That tight, uncomfortable feeling in the body after a long day becomes less noticeable. And even though these early changes may feel small, they are actually very important because they are the first signs that your nervous system is shifting out of a constant stress state and back into recovery mode. By the end of the first week, the improvements become more noticeable. Men often report waking up with a lighter feeling in their body. The heaviness that used to be present in the legs or lower back begins to reduce. Sleep becomes less interrupted. Bathroom trips during the night may decrease in frequency. And in some cases, men begin to notice the return of morning erections even if they were weak or absent before. This is a key indicator that nighttime recovery is starting to activate again, because morning erections are not random. They are a reflection of healthy blood flow, balanced hormones, and proper nervous system regulation during sleep. By the second week of consistent use, the changes often become more stable and more meaningful. Sleep duration improves, with many men experiencing longer periods of uninterrupted rest. Energy levels during the day begin to rise naturally, without stimulants or extra effort. Mental clarity improves as well. The brain feels less foggy, less scattered, and more focus throughout the day. And alongside these physical and cognitive improvements, many men also report a gradual return of libido and sexual confidence. Not because of artificial stimulation, but because the body is finally recovering the way it is supposed to at night. At this point, it becomes clear that sleep is not just rest. It is the foundation of hormonal balance, energy production, and sexual health. However, there are still some common mistakes that prevent men from getting the full benefit of magnesium supplementation. The first mistake is choosing the wrong form. Magnesium oxide is still the most commonly sold version because it is cheap and widely available, but it is also one of the least effective forms for absorption. It often passes through the digestive system without being properly utilized, and in some cases, it may even cause digestive discomfort without providing real benefits. The second mistake is timing. Some men take magnesium in the morning or during the day, expecting energy benefits. But magnesium is not a stimulant. It works by calming the nervous system, not activating it. So, when taken during the day, it can sometimes lead to unwanted drowsiness or reduced alertness. The true benefit comes when it is used at night, aligned with the body's natural recovery cycle. The third mistake is inconsistency. Magnesium is not a one-time solution. It works by gradually restoring balance in the body over time. Skipping doses or using it only occasionally prevents the system from fully stabilizing. And without that consistency, the deeper benefits on sleep and recovery are never fully realized. Most men need at least 2 weeks of regular use to experience noticeable and stable improvements. During this period, the body is slowly replenishing what it has been lacking, and the nervous system is learning how to return to a calmer baseline state again. And when that happens, sleep quality improves in a way that supports every other system in the body. Energy, mood, hormone balance, and even sexual function begin to align more naturally. There is also an important safety consideration that I want to be clear about. Magnesium is a naturally occurring mineral, and for most men, it is generally well tolerated and safe when used appropriately. It can often be used alongside common medications such as blood pressure treatments, cholesterol medications like statins, or even certain prostate support therapies. However, this does not mean it should be taken without awareness. If you are using blood thinners, or if you have more complex medical conditions, it is always important to speak with your doctor before starting any supplement routine. Because even natural compounds can interact differently depending on your individual health situation. Now, there is another layer to this approach that many men overlook. Magnesium does not work in isolation when it comes to restoring full male vitality. In fact, its effects can be enhanced when combined with other key nutrients that support hormonal balance and recovery. One of the most important combinations is magnesium with zinc and vitamin B6. This combination is often referred to as ZMA. Zinc plays a critical role in testosterone production and immune function. Vitamin B6 supports neurotransmitter balance and helps regulate mood and sleep cycles. And when combined with magnesium, these nutrients work together to support deeper sleep, better recovery, and improved hormonal function. Some men also report improved muscle recovery, better sleep depth, and a natural improvement in libido when this combination is used consistently at night. But I want you to remember something very important here. This is not about chasing quick fixes. It is about restoring what the body naturally requires to function properly. Because when men come into my clinic, they are often not dealing with a single isolated problem. They are dealing with a system that has been under-supported for a long time. They feel tired, disconnected, and less confident than they used to be. They avoid intimacy. They feel frustrated with their energy levels. And they start to believe that decline is just inevitable. But what I see over and over again is that once sleep begins to improve, everything else starts to shift. When the body is finally allowed to recover properly at night, hormone balance begins to normalize. Energy starts to return naturally. And sexual function often improves as circulation, nervous system balance, and testosterone support come back into alignment. It is not an overnight change, but it is a very real and measurable recovery process. And that is why sleep is the foundation of everything I have been explaining so far. Because without proper sleep, no supplement, no routine, and no intervention can fully work the way it is supposed to. Now, there are also some additional support options that I sometimes discuss with men who want to go beyond basic recovery and focus more specifically on circulation, stamina, and overall sexual performance. But I want to be very clear. Many of the products sold online in this category are not reliable, not properly tested, or not safe for long-term use. That is why I always emphasize choosing options that are backed by real evidence and proper formulation. One of the simpler natural supports that some men use is watermelon extract, which is rich in an amino acid called L-citrulline. L-citrulline helps the body produce nitric oxide, and nitric oxide plays a key role in blood vessel dilation and circulation. Improved circulation can support stronger and more consistent erectile function in some men, especially when combined with lifestyle improvements and better sleep. For men looking for more comprehensive support, there are also multi-ingredient formulations that combine several well-researched compounds. These may include L-citrulline for blood flow, horny goatweed for sexual stamina and performance support, Tongkat Ali, which is often used to support testosterone levels and libido, fenugreek, which may support energy and sexual function, and nettle root, which is sometimes used for hormonal and prostate support. Each of these ingredients targets a different aspect of male vitality: circulation, hormonal balance, energy levels, and sexual responsiveness. But again, none of these should be seen as replacements for sleep and recovery. They are only supportive tools, not foundations, because the real foundation always comes back to how well your body recovers at night. And when that foundation is rebuilt, everything else becomes more effective. What I want you to take away from all of this is very simple, but extremely important. Fatigue, poor sleep, fading erections, and low energy are not just random consequences of aging. They are signals. Signals that your body is not recovering the way it is supposed to. And the encouraging truth is this: in most cases, this is not permanent damage. It is a reversible state of deficiency and poor recovery support. Your body still has the capacity to feel strong, alert, and energized again. But it needs the right conditions to do that. And those conditions begin with nighttime recovery. Because when sleep improves, everything else begins to improve with it. This is something I see repeatedly in my work with patients. Men come in feeling tired, disconnected, and frustrated with their health. They often feel like they are losing control over their energy, their confidence, and their relationships. Some avoid intimacy. Some feel emotionally distant. Many believe this is just how things are now. But when we begin restoring proper sleep and supporting the body's natural recovery systems, the change is often very noticeable. Energy returns gradually. Mood stabilizes. Confidence begins to rebuild. And sexual function often improves as circulation, hormones, and nervous system balance begin working together again. It is not magic. It is biology returning to balance. And it usually starts with something very simple: supporting the body at night instead of ignoring it. Because your body does not stop working when you sleep. It repairs, restores, and rebuilds itself during those hours. And if you give it what it needs during that time, it responds. Now, before I finish, I want to briefly mention that some men choose to further support their circulation, stamina, and overall vitality with targeted supplements. But I always caution against blindly trusting products online, especially those that are not properly tested or clearly formulated. If you are considering additional support, focus only on well-researched ingredients that actually have physiological mechanisms behind them, such as compounds that support nitric oxide production for blood flow, or herbs that have been studied for testosterone and libido support. But again, none of this replaces the foundation. The foundation is always sleep, recovery, and proper nutrient balance. When those three are in place, the body often begins to respond naturally. So let me leave you with this final thought. You are not broken. You are not past your prime. And you are not destined to feel this way forever. In many cases, what you are experiencing is your body asking for correction, not decline. And small, consistent changes can make a meaningful difference over time, especially when they are focused on restoring what your body already knows how to do naturally. If you found this video helpful, take a moment to like it and subscribe so you don't miss future content. And I would genuinely like to hear from you in the comments. Are you currently struggling with sleep, energy, or recovery? And where are you watching from? Thank you for your time today. Take care of your health, and remember, your recovery starts at night.